Hi Sherry, my name is Glendine Wolf, and Austin asked me to make a short video for you to tell you a little bit about myself and my professional background. I am a native Angelina. I grew up in North Hollywood. I went to Grant High School, but I've lived all over Los Angeles. I've lived in Venice and I've lived on the East Side. And one of my favorite places where I've lived is the Miracle Mile and also Country Club Park, which I'm sure you're aware is Hancock Park adjacent. I had the great pleasure and honor of living in Millbank Mansion, which was inherited and owned by a childhood friend of mine. A little bit about my professional background. I've worked in the corporate landscape for over 20 years as an executive assistant and an operations manager, business administration manager. Very lucky that over the span of my career, I've been able to work in diverse industries. I've worked for a startup company, wealth management, a corporate hedge fund, as well as a venture capital firm. So I have a lot of experience working with high net worth individuals. I understand the kind of service that they expect. And I understand that it's very important to build a trusting relationship with those clients. And how you build a trusting relationship is very simple. It's really a matter of asking the right questions, listening to their answers, and then providing the service that they need to have their desires met. I worked for a company called Core Infrastructure. This was a startup organization with a very lean team. I worked directly for the CEO, the CFO, and the COO. We had a team of about 23 people, and I was the senior manager of business administration for the company. But I also ran the day-to-day activities of those three executives, so managing their calendars, correspondence with the public, with staff on their behalf, keeping them on task, making sure that they met their deadlines and their meetings. I also ran special projects for them. So one example of a special project was our office expansion. I was in charge, the project manager on that office expansion. I worked with the contractors, the designers. I acted as a designer as well. The architectural firm, really just getting budgets approved by the CFO, but making all the lead decisions and approving everything for that project on my own. I'm very comfortable with making decisions, knowing what my boundaries are, knowing what the parameters are. I'm very comfortable with taking the bull by the horns. I'd like to share with you a little bit about my work and communication style. I tend to be a pretty straight shooter. I like to communicate directly with people, and I appreciate it when people communicate directly with me as well. I'm patient. I don't get stressed out too easily. But I definitely like to get the job done, and I like to be efficient. So what that means for me is, having my task list of things that I need to do, probably organized the night before, and then going over it in the morning to make sure that everything on the list is prioritized, and then just checking things off the list, going down and checking things off the list. Of course, having a list is great and it's important and it definitely keeps one focused throughout the day, but there are always things that come flying out of left field and right field. And so, you have to be prepared to manage those things that come out of the blue and make space for them in your day without losing it, because that always happens, especially in a very busy work environment. I ask a lot of questions, especially in the beginning, just to be clear, and especially when you're when you're new and you're building relationships with people. In some ways, work relationships aren't that different than any other relationships we have in our lives. They take a lot of communication and a lot of patience, and not being afraid to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes, and always growing and always improving. A bit about my professional background, my work style, my communication style. I am actually in the process right now of doing the coursework to take my state real estate exam for my license. Keller Williams is one of the companies that I have been talking to people about as a great company to work for as a beginning real estate agent. I think this opportunity of working with a team as their executive assistant, the operations manager, would be a tremendous, fabulous way to learn about the industry. And I'm sure that I would learn so much, and I would be happy to serve your team um, to make to enable them to be as successful and make their day-to-day as easy as possible. So please feel free to reach out at any time. I am available at any time to speak with you. I really hope that I get to come in and meet the team and speak with you face to face. And if you have any questions, any follow-up questions, please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know what they are. Thank you so much for this opportunity.